If you are a video podcaster, then this is a mandatory piece of equipment. The Elgato prompter. Seriously. It's also a mandatory piece of equipment if you are a YouTuber or content creator who reads scripts. And that's because it's a teleprompter that actually plugs into your computer and works as a second monitor. So you can stare through anything you can put on a second monitor and you'll be staring directly into your camera. Hey, welcome to Pod Sound School, another quick and fun video for you with must-have gear. Make sure you subscribe because every week we share tons of tips for podcasting, video podcasting, and content creation. I'm Studio Steve, an audio and video producer, and I'm also an instructor inside of our coaching programs. Go to podsoundschool.com to find out more about those. So we've experimented with 3 or 4 different teleprompters and different solutions, iPads, phones, and teleprompter apps, always pulling each other's hair out. And many times when we're shooting a YouTube video and we're reading a script on a teleprompter, we had to have 2 people, somebody actually running the teleprompter for the talent in front of the camera. Well, goodbye, overcomplicated and painful shooting days. Hello, amazing teleprompter. One of the features that's really cool about this teleprompter is it actually just hangs on the lens of your DSLR camera, which makes it perfect if you're using a Sony camera or a Canon camera. And the Elgato prompter app also comes with a ton of different attachments. So basically, any lens that you're using, there's a little ring thingy that you can screw into the top of your lens, and then the Elgato will just slip over the top of it. It also comes with a little clip for the Facecam Pro by Elgato, and it also comes with sort of a traditional cover for a teleprompter. So any camera that you want to use with this thing, you can. So now let's hop over into the computer and I'll show you a setup with a wide angle lens that you might consider for this teleprompter if you're in a tight space. And I'll show you how it works and how you can make some simple adjustments on it and how you can use any app you want, even other teleprompter apps with this teleprompter, if you don't like the Camera Hub software that comes with the Elgato prompter. All right, to the computer. All right, so here's the Camera Hub app that you install to work with the prompter. And you have your choice between display, which will allow you to use the teleprompter like an additional monitor. This is how you can hook up with Zoom calls or coaching calls or video podcasts. Really cool stuff here. Then you can also use text. And in addition to that, there's also an opacity option right here, which allows you to do both. So you could have the text or your notes kind of over the top of a presentation that you're giving or a coaching call that you're giving. This is pretty cool stuff. You could also display your notes right there on a video podcast episode so you never look away when you are interacting with your guest. Now the prompter screen is pretty small and you can see the lens inside of it. What I like to do is actually adjust the horizontal margin here, which makes the font get really small and you can actually have it just be the width of the lens. That'll help when you're reading it to really keep your eyes centered on the lens and to really keep that eye contact happening. A new update it has as well is overlays, and these overlays allow you to add sort of a central spot right where your lens is at, and that may also help you to keep eye contact with your camera. You can copy and paste your script into here. You can separate it into chapters. Then when you're ready, you simply press play and you can read from the teleprompter app just like this. You can also adjust your font size. You can adjust your font type. So if you're using a 50mm lens or an 85mm lens and the camera is really far away from you, no biggie. Just make your font size really big. Now, I will say that I'm not really a fan of the actual teleprompter app portion of the Camera Hub app. I don't really like how it scrolls through the text. I also don't like that it's not very easy to go back to previous parts unless it's in its own chapter. But there's no reason that you can't experiment with any other teleprompter app. A teleprompter app that we've been using for a long time is the Teleprompter app. Let me open that up and show you how you can just use this teleprompter app now and use the Camera Hub as a display. So you're using it as a monitor. And then once it's on the display as well, you can also adjust the brightness of the display. That could be really good if you have something bright on screen. You might get a glow over the top of the lens if it's too bright. So it's cool to know where that brightness adjustment's at. But now that I have this set up as a display, I can use this teleprompter app and just kind of drag it over onto this monitor screen like it's a new screen. And now I can simply use a mouse. If I have a wireless mouse, I can be far away from the camera and I can use my teleprompter app the way I like it. What I like about this teleprompter app is I can sort of scroll up and down through my script. I can start it, and the controls are just a little bit better, a little more convenient for my taste, and I get a way better performance using this teleprompter app than I get using the Camera Hub teleprompter portion of that app. But the real power in this teleprompter is really being able to use a secondary monitor and have the lens behind that monitor. This has already been a game changer for us, and we've only had it for a month. This will be the best piece of equipment that you purchase for your video podcast, whether you're live streaming or for your YouTube channel, or if you're a coach or an online educator like we are. And speaking of podcasts and video podcasts, did you know that we have a coaching and certification program for professional podcast editors where we cover video and audio editing at the highest level of audio production? It's a 12-week program where you craft your portfolio and website, build your business and marketing plan, and actually book your first client. If you've been waiting for a sign to get going with a business online, let this be it. Come join us. You can find out more by going to podcastingsmart.com/EditLab. It is by application only. Go to that page and you can apply today. Now, also on the topic of video podcasting, there's a ton that goes into creating and crafting a really good video podcast. And in this video that Veronica just put out here, she covers the 5 must-know things if you are going to be sharing your podcast to YouTube. Not watching this video will keep your podcast from growing. So go check it out now.